Hello my friends, welcome back to another class. I'm calling this one prehabbing the ankle, and what I mean by that is that we're going to go through a short flow where we focus on mobilizing, stabilizing and strengthening the ankle. And this has been inspired by me rolling my ankle 2 weeks ago. I strained one of my ligaments in my ankle because I fell down the stairs when it was really dark and I couldn't see where I was going. It got very swollen. But my recovery process has been really quick. Like, I'm able to kneel like this, which I couldn't have done 2 weeks ago. Anyway, I credit that fast recovery to all the work that I have done previously. So you can do it too. We're going to get started in a seated position. I would recommend, if you had a block or something, to sit up onto it, because you're going to extend your feet out in front of you. Just one foot to begin with. Other hand can kind of hold around the leg. You can have the ankle on the ground or you can have the ankle off the ground. We're going to start by just rolling the ankle. And we talked a month or two ago about how the ankle is a mobile joint. So it's supposed to move in quite a few different directions of motion, and just swap directions of the circle. This still feels like a little bit uncomfortable for me, but you just work in a range of motion that feels relatively pain-free. Come back through center. What I want you to do is go through the numbers 1 to 10 and make them with your toes. So going for 1 straight down, and then 2, try and make these as big as possible. 3, and this is just going to help you create these different ranges of motion, going through flexion, going through extension. I'm on number 7. I don't know what number you are on. It's also good work for the hip flexor as well. Let's go for 9. And then 10. Okay, we're going to swap it out to the other side. So not often that we want to do the pre-work. Let's just start by rolling the ankle first. The pre-work oftentimes is only after an injury or only after a strain or something like that, where we're like, oh shoot, I should have done that before. Whereas if you can do all the pre-work, it just means that you can go back to life how you would normally run it. Switch directions of the circle. And then same thing on this leg, we're going to go through the numbers 1 to 10. Ooh. Side's a little bit different. You can always do a backwards number if you needed. The doctor, when I went to the hospital to get an x-ray to make sure it wasn't a fracture, he was like, do you want to get some time off work? And because I'm self-employed, if I take time off work, it means I don't get paid. And so being able to continue to work and to get back into the swing of things really quickly made a huge difference. Otherwise, yeah, I'd be out of work for a couple of weeks. Okay, I just done number 10. When you're ready, work yourself up into a narrow squat, or maybe a wider squat, let's say. Take the feet a little bit wider, turn the toes out a little bit, sink your hips down. This is one of the best movements that you can do for your ankle mobility or your knee mobility or hip mobility. Let's take a little rock from side to side. Taking a deep breath in to lift the crown of the head up to the sky, and using an exhalation to squeeze the shoulder blades back. Maybe finding stillness again, planting the heels down to the ground, feeling the toes lift up in the direction of the shins. Just slightly lift your hips up, walk yourself back into that narrow squat, and then bend your legs. See if you can keep your hips, your heels grounded. It's totally okay if the heels are not grounded. Good sign if you can keep your heels grounded. Keep working on this. Wherever you are, you're going to lift yourself up, lifting the heels. Tap the knees down in front of you. With or without the help of the hands, you're going to lift the knees and then lower the heels down. So breathing in, tapping forward. Exhaling to lift, rolling the heels back. Breathe in to tap forward. exhaling to tap back. Let's try a few more. So what we're doing is also working on a little bit of toe mobility and a little bit of stability through the ankle joint as well. The next time your knees are forward, hold there. Lift yourself up a little bit, then untuck your toes. Sink yourself back either to a kneeling position. If you felt like more, you can lift the knees off the ground. This feels a little bit niggly for my ankle, so I'm not going to do it. But see if you can lift your knees as far up as possible, pressing the toes into the ground. Lift yourself up, tuck the toes again, and then sink yourself back into that narrow squat. So breathe in, shift forward. Exhale, untuck the toes. Maybe you lift the knees off the ground. Breathe in, shift forward. Exhale, tuck the toes, land the heels down. Let's go one more. Breathe in, roll forward. Exhale, untuck toes, maybe lean back a little bit. Breathe in, shift forward. Exhale, tuck toes, drop the heels down. This time, come into a forward fold. Ooh, it is windy. It's been so windy the last couple of days. Feet underneath the hips. Relax the upper back. Tuck the chin in. Maybe a little pedal out through the feet here. Maybe bending one knee, bending the other knee. As you're ready for it, roll yourself up to stand. Shift your weight into your left foot. Of course, you can do this with the right foot down as well. We're just going to take some heel lifts. So coming onto your toes and then lowering the heels down. Lifting up to the toes and then lowering the heel. Lifting to the toes and then lowering the heel. If you want to make this harder, you could always go to a place in the stairs where your heel can drop a little bit lower than your toes. Obviously I'm outside, there aren't any stairs around, so let's go about 4 more. Breathing in to lift, exhaling to lower. Also got a little bit of balance going on as well. Feeling the calf strengthen here. Land to the left heel, sweep your right toes back, warrior 3. Hands might come through heart center, squaring the hips and the shoulders to the ground, sliding the shoulder blades back. Maybe you stay here if you felt like a little bit more. See if you can bend your knee as much as you can. You can always bring fingertips to the ground for support. Lengthen the leg, breathe in. Exhale, bend to the knee. Inhale, lengthen the leg. Exhale to bend. 2 more, breathe in and lift. Exhale to bend. 1 more, lift. And then bend. Okay, come back through standing. We're going to swap it out to the other side. So shift your weight into the right foot this time. This might be a little bit different for me, might be a little bit different for you. When you're ready to start to lift the heel up and then lower. Lifting the heel up and then lowering down. Trying to keep your eye gaze focused on one point. If you wanted to see the photo of my ankle, feel free to head over to our Patreon account. I posted it in there. It was really bad. It was, first injury. I was like, oh, is this what normal feet look like when you roll them, you sprain them or something? My sister said my foot looked worse than when she tore 3 ligaments in her feet. So I was like, wow. Let's go 2 more. Okay, land the right heel down, warrior 3. So aiming for about parallel with the ground here. Okay, take a deep breath in, keeping the leg long, and then as you exhale, you're bending the right knee, aiming to track it over the midline of the foot. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to bend. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. Let's go 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Really good. Come back up through standing. Maybe press the tops of your toes down to the ground so you stretch out through the front of the ankle. And then swap sides. And then extend one heel out in front of you. You're gonna bend your knees, push your hips back, maybe hands come to the ground. If you can put your toes up against a wall, this can also really help. Just come up a little bit higher. And you can play with bending or straightening the knee. Okay, swap sides. So we've got ligaments and tendons and things that attach the bone to muscle and the bone to bone. We want to make sure there's a little bit of elasticity in there, so when we do roll something, it's got some room to give, but not too much that we're rolling our ankle all the time and slipping ourselves out. Okay, one more. Plyometrics are really good for strengthening our ligaments and our tendons, and as well as our bones. Plyometrics meaning jumping and creating impact within our body. So what we can do here, first option is taking ourselves into a squat, maybe taking feet a little bit wider. Squat and then lift the heels, keeping the toes on the ground. If you felt like a little bit more, squat and then jump up, landing ball foot. Okay, we're gonna go for about 10, slow. So bend and then lift, bend, lift. If you want to make this harder, you can do 1 foot at a time. Who would have thought seeing squat jumps in a yoga channel? I've got about 3 more. Whew, legs are sore after that. Okay, folks, that is where we will finish our practice, our class today. I hope that you learned a little bit. Remember, it's important that we do the prehab. It's definitely not as exciting, but it does mean that whenever you do get a strain or an injury, that you can recover at a quicker pace. Anyway, look forward to seeing you again sometime soon.